Welcome to ScratchStart. In this session, we are going to see how we can create state visualizer using JavaScript. That means we have, if you have seen in already previous session, I think the first video of this mini project series, I have done the HTML visualizer, like elements visualizer. Here the same thing, but we are going to consider the states. That's all. Whether it is incrementing or light mode, dark mode. See if you can see the browser. Increment, toggle theme, undo, redo. These are the 4 states I have taken for this particular task. So we are going to write JavaScript DOM to increment the code, to toggle the theme, to undo and redo the states and everything. So that is what we are going to do. So I have created the HTML CSS for this, and I have already also created variables using the identifiers. So we have to create these write these sections like app state. This is the initial state. That means the initial render, the initial state of the application in the browser. So for the initial state, I am creating state and count equal to 0 and theme equal to light, and then history. What this history have is an array element. This is an array element. It stores what we click. If you can see in the browser, when I click increment, the count here will increase. When I click toggle theme, the theme will change. It will be stored here. Whenever we click this button, the state will get updated and the state history will be stored here. So this is the history. So that will be stored as an array here. So I am creating a history as an empty array, and another element called redo stack. This is also an array. So now we have to save the action, like save what we are doing. So for that, I am creating a function called save state with a parameter action. So the function here will be, we have to push the recent action into the array element. History.push. We have to push the action inside the action parameter. What action we are going to push is the action we are operating, the action and operation, and we have to update the state as well. For the state value, getting JSON.parse, JSON.stringify.state. So why I am using state here is, as I have already said, it is stored as an array element, right? So it's stored as an array element. So we should convert it into text, like words, to make it appear on the browser correctly. So that is why. Now we have to include the render history here. Render history. Now this function is completed. Now the next is, we have to render the UI next. So for this, I am creating another function called render. Inside the render, I am creating a new element called count element, and the text content is a state count. And then I am using if else method to toggle the theme. So if the state is dark, have to change theme dot element. That means theme dot element we created. You can see in the top here, theme dot element created, and change its text content to dark. And now we have to change the color of the browser, right? Theme of the browser. So we have to add the class list, body class list, add dark. And now we have another possibility, else block. We have to change the theme element document, and we have to change the text content to light, and then we have to change the document, remove the dark to give it a light theme. So that's all. You can see I have the things are already here suggesting, because I have already practiced this before, used in different file. So that is why it is repeating here again. It is recommending the action, that's all. And next we have to render the history. So here you can see in the state history we have to render it. Whenever we click this buttons, the state changes or the something occurs. So that operation and what is the occurrence, that should be saved in the history array element, in the history array here. So we have the saved elements should display in the browser. So for that I am creating a function called render history. Render history, inside that I am creating a element called history index and change this inner HTML to empty. And then within the history element, history array, using for each method, that means each of the entry in the array we have to execute the function. With item and index. Inside that, now for each of the element we have to create a each element should, for a creator, create the new element in the history array to enter into the browser. Thus we have to write the structure, right? So I am creating a new variable called variable called div, and this div will create a new element called division. And next we have to give this division element a class list, div dot class list, add history item class. That's all. Now we have to give the inner HTML value, that means this division element text content value. So div dot inner HTML equal to strong, and then this is the structure, the entries in the history array will be created. Items action, that means whatever the action we are doing here, whether it can be increment or toggle theme or undo or redo. And then count, what count here is the order of the action. That means when I click increment, this is the first, when I click this is one, order 1, this is the second, and this is third, this is fourth, and when I click redo again, that is fifth, and then I click undo, that is 6. It can go like the serial number, that's all. So that in the specific structure it will be created. Now next is we have created the count. two elements, a strong, and then we have to do another thing too. I have made some error here, so I will rewrite it again. Strong, change the value to index +1, +1 dot, and given items action, item dot action, and close the tag, and close the tag. Now we have to write the count, select the item with the state and give it a count, and that's all. Now close the tag. Now we have to include the theme too. Theme, select the items theme, that's all. Item state is dark or light, that's all, and then close it. Next we have to append this whole values into the history history array element, that means the history list. So that's all. Now next is we have another button called increment. So for that we have to write, this is a standard method we have done in the counter task too. Select the increment button, give it an add event listener click, save state, and the state is increment, the state is count, and it will be rendered. And we have to include here is redo task too, redo stack with an empty error. And then we have to toggle theme toggles. Here also the same basic method, toggle event, given add event listener. Inside that we have to write the function. Inside the function select the save state, give it the theme toggle. State dark is not state dark, if it is not, should be not state dark, and we have to introduce the redo stack and render too. See here it is suggesting, I have wrote the redo stack and render here, so it is automatically suggesting, that's all. Now we have to write for undo task. Undo means if a method, if a state is introduced here already and we have to undo it, that's all. We have to bring it back previous, that's all. So for that undo, I'm selecting undo button, giving add event listener. History is length, history dot length equal to 0, we have to stop the operation. That means we have to stop the return, we have to return it. And then from the redo stack push it, that means push the input, push the list element. JSON dot parse JSON dot stringify state, and then we have to consider as const. We have to create a new variable called previous. From the history element we have to pop the final element, that's all. And then we declare state is equal to previous state, and then we can render and render history. That's all. Now like this, similarly we have to write the redo too. Select the redo button, give it an add event listener. Add event listener. If redo stack length is 0, we should return it. History, we have to push the new element, that means a new state. What we have to push are action and the state. We have done it already here, so state, that's all. And then we have another important thing is we have to declare the state now. State equal to redo stack pop, then render history, that's all. And then we have to write for the initial render. As you can see, I have done everything. Here are syntax errors there. It is also fixed, so everything is fixed here. As you can see in the JavaScript, while I am writing, everything is automatically filled. You must have noticed that is very obvious here, because I have already practiced this before I record the video. I mainly use this YouTube just to show what I do. That's all. That is the main main goal here in this YouTube. That's all. That is what I mainly focus here. So I have already so that is we have gone to the browser, and I click reload, and I click increment. State is not loading. Wait a minute, we must have done some error. Render is present. There is some error here. Stringify state on some syntax error. I'm going to reload again. I click increment. It is not working. Copy path. So when I click increment, it is not working again. Wait a minute, I will be back, and I will see if I can. I will easily fix the problem. Wait a minute. Yeah, I have now fixed the code now. This is some syntax error. That's all. There is nothing wrong in the logic I have wrote. So let's go to the browser. I click reload. When I click increment, see the state is increasing. Count will start from 0. As I have already mentioned here, count's beginning value is 0. So it is working. So when I click think toggle, it is changing. And when I click undo, this last state changing, last state change will go to the previous state. When I click undo, so it is gone. And I click redo, this will again get included. See, that's all. So that is all the operation we have done here. See, count is 0 and dark is 1. That is the initial state. This is for the store all the history and the redo tasks. From the redo only from the redo tasks we can import the already done operations, the states. Save it will be saved here in the redo stack variable, array variable, and then this is just to save the history. So this push will push the state, that means add an array element to the history array, and then it is a UI rendition, and then the history structure in the browser, this exact structure, that is what we have written here. And then for the increment button, for toggle theme toggle button, this undo button, from this undo button what actually happened here is, from the history button array variable, the final element that the pop will do is an array method that will delete the last element in an array, that's all. So that it will kick out the last element, that is the last state in this case. And then redo, it will also do the same thing. From the restack it will pop the last variable, and then history render, it will be rendered, and render history will be rendered. And then for to render the initial render, we have to include the render function too. So that's all. That's how it works. Like all the other tasks, you can please feel free to use it for your side projects and your learning too. It will be really helpful. So yeah, that is it for today's session, and I will meet you guys in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice